As we look forward to celebrate our independence anniversary, how do we work together to return our country to prosperity? Join us on Yourview as we discuss the path to national development on October 1st, 2015. Time 7:30 a.m. Venue TVC Studios, 1 Continental Way, off CMD Road, Ikosiketu, Lagos. To be a part of our live audience, send your name and phone number to yourview@tvcontinental.tv. Come dressed in green and white. Happy anniversary, Nigeria!
Welcome back. Now, there has been so much ongoing at the University of Lagos, Unilag. Not too long after the students protested the sudden death of one of their colleagues who was electrocuted. Now, the students recently again staged another protest over the invasion of bed bugs in their halls of residence. They have also decried the unsanitary condition of the hostels. Must students always have to protest before their welfares are met? What are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 070-8066-801. You can tweet to us at TVC_ENT and please hashtag Yourview. Now, as I said, Unilag is seriously trending. You know, I know Jumoke is not here. I know she's an alumni. I've actually been there not too long ago to speak at one of their major events. And I mean, the whole Unilag has this Unilag, you know, the Unilag. But when these issues keep coming up in the same Unilag, you just got to talk about it. I mean, I don't like to talk about it, but it's just something that we have to bring to the fore here. First of all, a teacher or maybe a lecturer raped a student. Then somebody was electrocuted. And it was denial. And they denied, saying that, oh, the power was not from us, it was from the Ikeja Electric, XYZ. Now, bed bugs. Students are also protesting. Now, although the officials are now saying that, oh, we fumigated, you know, the children, the students are actually just being overzealous. They shouldn't have, there's nothing wrong. But still,
can I just say
protest
something?
all the time?
Can I just say something? You know, I've been to many universities abroad. And no, I'm serious. They're dormitories. You know, when you see a dormitory abroad, a student, you will be like, ah, man, I wish I could be here. They are so comfortable. They are so nice. They are so well kept. You come to Unilag or any other university in Nigeria, like, yeah, I don't even want to sleep here. Yeah. I'd rather come daily. You know, so it has to even start from there.
That welfare thing is a major, because interestingly, I actually have a video. My brother's daughter just got to university, I think in Virginia, and they actually recorded her unpacking, getting her, and just looking at the dormitories and all this unpacking. And you're like, this is a dormitory.
The Aspen juice.
Yes.
Hey.
For those of you who went abroad, no Allah. For those of us who schooled here, the truth is that every single university in Nigeria now, except for LASO, of course, which, you know, by statute, LASO was established not to have hostels within, but, you know, I think they've amended it to have only female hostels now. We don't have up-to-standard hostels anymore. My father used to tell me about UI back in the days when they had cleaners come and pick up their clothes and all that. But, you know, because of the situation in the country now, corruption setting in, it has set into everything. I stayed at Moremi, sorry, what's this one in OAU, the major female hostel in OAU.
Moremi Hall.
Moremi Hall, when I went to visit my friend, and we had our bath outside early in the morning. We come out at 4 a.m. to have our bath, because you don't even want to see the state of the
bathrooms.
You don't want to go in. I told you the
story now. When I went to serve, when the university was teaching me how to pee outside. And why am I removing my underwear at this age? That's a regular thing. Because that's what they do in hostels.
The government are responsible for this. Most of the federal universities, federal government is responsible. State universities, state governments are responsible. But we don't see the money is, you know, budgeted for these infrastructures to be maintained. We don't get. I don't think it gets to them.
Well, how? But excuse me. I need to ask a question. Yes. Because last year they were on strike for how many months? And then there was a huge sum of money. Was that money for their own pockets or to... Because at that time, they were arguing that infrastructure. So what have they done with the money?
Number one excuse I have for the government is that the crowd in the universities these days is no longer, you know, what the capacity was built for. Back then, maybe they had 100 or 500, you know, students. But now, when every year jam turns out, almost 1 million every year for admission.
All that are excuses.
In one school, I be the whole all
Yes,
schools.
In all schools, and how many can a school take?
All that are excuses. Because when you make the provisional admission available to them, you cut them down, you use your cutoff mark, you do all sorts. But we go back to a society where everybody fends for themselves. We provide our power, we provide our water, we provide everything for ourselves. So the society isn't really caring for the people. Now, the students pay so much for the accommodation within the school compounds. One, there's a statement that a new hall has, they can't even access their toilets. Also, one of my staffs just told us that a younger brother fell ill because bugs were falling from,
practically,
as in they were falling and flying everywhere. And they sorted that out. They did the fumigation, and they were still within residence when they did the fumigation, which was why the boy fell ill. Two, the bed bugs within the bed can't even allow them to sleep
inside the bed.
Now, which of the lecturers sleeps on bed bug? Because we shouldn't you have to consider yourself when you're doing things to others.
Let me take this call from Victory. Victory, are you there? Good morning.
Murayo.
Yes.
And good morning to everyone in the studio. Auntie Yanni, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. Honestly, everybody has spoken well about this.
Sorry, we missed that.
So sorry.
Now, what is the place
forward
of the alumni? Because I also know that schools, even abroad, the alumni association are so strong that they come together and they participate in helping to actually help the welfare or to assist in infrastructure. Whatever happened to that?
No, but
let me tell you what will happen is if I go through that school and that school did not treat me well while I was there, when I'm leaving, I'm just saying
bye-bye for life.
It's my back. You should just be.
But we've had some alumni.
Let me take this call from my head. Yakub, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there, Murayo.
Morning, please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning to you all.
Good morning.
I think everybody has spoke very well. You see, the question is this. Everything still bounds down to corruption. Because every year, money budgeted for this university. And then the question is this, who handles the money? Who monitoring the money? Now, you're not telling, all these students now, they are paid for this hostel to be staying in, and then they can't stay there. Are they going to refund their money back? Which is no. And then who is going to pay for this thing now? And then they are not telling us that the students, they are not fumigating. Are they responsible to fumigate their rooms? Are they not collecting money for such? I think I want to use this opportunity to call on Mr. President. He should look into all the universities in this country because somebody must be paying for that. Because there was money to be budgeted for all these things.
Thank you so much, Yakub.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, let us be fair on the school because they've already said they actually fumigated the facilities. They're saying that they actually also planned to replace the mattresses. But maybe that hasn't been done because because the students actually, while protesting, they're bringing out dilapidated, all these terrible bug-infested mattresses.
They need to be burnt. Those mattresses need to be burnt. That's the actual fact. And replaced. So what's the process? Because when you set up an organization, you have to have your process of, after 6 months, we replace the laptop. After 1 year, we replace the car. So what is the maintenance routine? As a country, we don't have maintenance routine. We see our roads are bad.
Ebenezer, are you there?
Yeah.
Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The university thing, I think I stay around Yaba area. And I've been to Unilag. The thing is not okay at all. If you go to the university, it's not okay at all. You can't still have the hostel. That is one. Two, please, I want to talk on this Mark-Odigie. He always talk on common sense in TV.
Okay.
If you look at he has not, I stay in Yaba, I was born in Yaba. He has not contributed 10 kobo with the development of Yaba area. They have a lot of things in Yaba. They have the little store, they have a center. If you look at they have hotels. If you look at the Raymond Street within the area, it's very bad. They are not doing anything. Common sense will be on the TV saying common sense. Common sense, they are not doing anything in that area. And they are making money in that area. If you see their parking center, they don't have any parking.
Okay.
The community do things yearly there.
Thank you so much, Ebenezer. Now, I want us to talk about alumni and also the place of hygiene. Because let us be fair.
Yes, because that's what the
because those students, indeed, because even here, I mean, not in the office, wherever we go to churches, go to the toilets. People actually have no sense of hygiene. the way they pee on the toilet seats, leave pee on the floor. So
Very
really,
true.
you hire cleaners, and how many times do they want to clean? So there's also a place of hygiene for the students too.
Well, you can't discount that. It's a societal issue that we need to generally work on, right from teaching them from the house and even primary schools to know how to maintain order when they're outside. But you mentioned the role of alumni, and I thought about it, that I've been to Unilag, just like you said, invitations and all that, and I saw buildings, very lovely buildings with people's names on it that was contributed by alumni. They contribute buildings, but I don't think that they would want to come and help you repair your hostel, because if you will write their name on it. You know, when people contribute in Nigeria, it is because they want to be glorified. They want to contribute a building and you put their name on it.
The truth is that if you give back, you get tax evasion for it. All you need to do is present it.
Yeah.
So that one is...
I have a call from there. Maybe I'll come to Nima. Let me take David's call. David, are you still there?
Yes, good morning.
Morning, please go ahead. Hurry up.
I'm a first person.
Yay, David. Sweet speaking.
I actually want to contribute to what you are saying. You know, all you have spoken well, but the issue is this. You cannot put the blame on the government. The building, the question is this, what will have included bed bugs in that building? That's my question.
True.
One, the building cannot bring out bed bugs. It is the cost of the students. What can bring bed bugs is food, the mattresses, and other things in the building. So the blame should not be put on the
management.
I disagree with David.
We should put the blame
on the students. All right, but let's see some tweets.
Okay, Neighbor Elvis says, we have the same issue too in Yabatek. Hostel is not a place of relaxation. You know, Hashtag got a bird bug infested Unilag bed. And Ismail says, okay.
The wise
Nigeria Ijob says, but all government universities in Nigeria are not fit for human habitation. You need to see how the students live. Bamidele Kingsley says, that shows the level of decay in our educational system. How can we produce quality leaders in such dehumanizing environments?
Okay. The wise one says, the university should be blamed for the unhygienic basic infrastructure, although students should tidy their environments too. Today, Tade says, now note, there were nice A-list private hostels in town. Though cost a whole lot, they were still well maintained.
All right.
Olufisayo Aramide says, where are the funds allocated to the university? There should be a committee responsible for the hostel cleaning.
Unfortunately, we need to close the segment now.
Yes. Because I just wanted to ask this question. How often are they supposed to change these mattresses? Because, you know, year in, year out,
that's what Soko was saying, that there should be a system of when they should actually change the mattresses.
When the system is right, Murayo, everybody will fall in line. I've traveled out. Nobody needs to tell me to queue up. Nobody needed to tell me to do some of the right things. When the school system puts structures on ground, even the students in the university would not bring in bugs, or they will clean up their environment when they're done. But system needs to be put on ground.
It's all about leadership.
Yes.
But they will they will not be able to do anything in class. You know, they will be carrying the bed bugs to the classes, to the classroom.
That's all we can take on this. We just hope next time we talk about Unilag, it will be good news.
Good news, honestly, please, Unilag. We need to hear about.
We love you.
Unilag.
You just got to do it right, all right? When we come back, we're going to talk about Down syndrome. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's Tuesday, so we're talking health. Down syndrome is a genetic disorder caused by the presence of all or part of a third copy of chromosome. It is typically associated with physical growth delays, characteristic facial features, and mild to moderate intellectual disability. It's the Down Syndrome Awareness Week. And how do we help people with this? We need to get them more educated on how to treat or how to even manage it. So joining us on the show to shed more light on Down syndrome are members of the Down Syndrome Foundation in Nigeria, Mrs. Stephen Gaitlin and Mr. Muyiwa Majakodomi. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Right?
Hi.
Yeah, oh, good. Very good. All right. So to join the conversation, you can call us on 070-8066-8014. You could tweet to us at TVC_ENT and #Yourview. Down syndrome. Now, this is Nigeria.
Yes.
So maybe we should start from scratch.
Yes.
What exactly is Down syndrome and how is it different from autism? Because people always seem to confuse both.
Let our guest start that.
Well,
Steve.
there's a big difference in Down syndrome and autism to start with. Down syndrome is a chromosomal disorder where a human is born with a third chromosome 21.
Okay.
So there's obvious, and they vary, but there are different facial features, physical characteristics that carry with it, but more so it's an intellectual disability. So the individual can have different levels of cognitive delays and experiences in their life. Autism is something that's kind of its own thing, but there are people with Down syndrome that can have a dual diagnosis and have autism as well.
Okay. All right.
And then usually they're born with some physical defect, medical
Down
defect.
syndrome.
Yes, either a hole in the heart, breathing problems, and so on and so forth. But this can be diagnosed medically.
Now, this is Down syndrome Awareness Week.
That's right, yes.
So that's why we're bringing you on to come and shed more light.
Yes.
How does someone detect, or how early, or can it be prevented if you detect it early? Or is it something that just comes in like naturally once you see the chromosome 21, there's nothing you can do about it? Or can it be fixed early?
It cannot be fixed.
Okay.
It cannot be fixed. It's not a disease. It's not an ailment. It's not a virus. It cannot be. It's just a fluke of nature. It just happens. Yes.
I read somewhere that people, it's more prevalent in mature women. When mature women have children, that it might tend to have Down syndrome. Older women giving birth.
Is that true?
Well, that number is slightly skewed because less older women have children. So, I mean, the rate of births are somewhere in the 1 to 700 children range, but more women younger having babies. So if you, mathematically, it just kind of works out that more women that are older have a child with Down syndrome, but less of them are having children. So it's kind of, there are plenty of women that are, not even 20.
I remember when BJ was born.
You remember BJ?
Yeah. Tony was young.
He was
Right.
29.
She was a young lady, and she gave birth to.
So both of you do have children with Down syndrome, just like
yes.
you said. And now, managing that, because you're educated, pretty much.
I hope so.
It's almost easy for you to read about it, understand it, and understand how to manage it. But here in Nigeria, the truth is that a lot of people don't have that kind of exposure, understanding. How do you then begin to even explain to them what this is?
Let me be honest with you. At the time BJ was born, I was totally ignorant, like a number of people, about what Down syndrome is. I searched the net, I read about it. I still didn't quite understand it until I met the founder of the foundation, Mrs. Modi. She was on television one time talking about it, and I said, yes, I need to go see her. So I went to see her on Monday, and I was educated even better. And we're moving from a state of ignorance to awareness, but it's in stages, it's gradual, and we're not quite there, but we're getting there.
So can children with Down syndrome live normal lives?
They can live normal lives, but maybe with a little bit of supervision. I mean, how normal is normal?
I think that's the big thing, is what's your definition of normal? I mean, it's the whole awareness part is knowing as early as you can after their birth that yes, they have this, and not abandoning the idea or abandoning them as just somebody that's different, and starting your own personal knowledge to help them as early as you can to help them grow. Because my son is 4. I knew before he was born. My wife and I had an amnio, so we had the knowledge before he was even born, but I was still uneducated about Down syndrome. I didn't know. I was scared. I was trying to figure out what is this thing, and I had to go out and get the same knowledge that people in Nigeria do or anywhere else in the world. You have to start with them as a person.
Your children, are they in school? How are they being educated? And if they are, what advice can you give to us in Nigeria? Because I see a lot of children with Down syndrome achieving things. We see their names, you know, autism and all that. Children with such defects achieving things outside this country, but not here.
Here they hide them. They just keep them indoors.
Yes, and then, like you said, early intervention, you know, because of ignorance, you know, people don't know. I didn't know about what early intervention was. So I was just, you know, trailing along, you know, going with the flow until, you know, until BJ was about 5 or 6, and I moved into the foundation. So it's a question of early intervention and find out what skills they have early enough so that you can move them in that direction.
Yeah, because I read a report about Down syndrome children.
Yes.
Some of them are extremely talented, extremely. And there was this boy, they took him to Paris and all those buildings.
Yes.
You know, he now got home and then he drew every single building in detail from memory.
Right. That's right.
You know, so you can't discover
their talent.
That's right. And then nurture it.
That's right.
What I wanted to ask you is it true that they don't have a long life?
No. Maybe previously, and that was because of poor medical facilities, poor medical interventions. But right now, they live well beyond 50, 60, some even 70. It's just a question, because maybe America is different, you know.
It's really not that different, and it's, you know, again, my son is only 4, so I'm very new to this myself, but kind of jumped in, you know, all in because he's my son. But even when he was born, we were seeing statistics that even in the 1980s, someone with Down syndrome, the average life was like in the 30s or 40s, and just since then, it's already jumped into the 60s, and that's because of awareness, medical intervention, not just medical intervention, but I mean is like therapeutic, physical, you know, development education.
We need to mention the Nigerian factor.
Yes.
Because now that's what this is about. You're in Nigeria to educate and enlighten people. But there's a Nigerian factor of spiritual intervention, that this is from the pit of hell, it's not my portion, it cannot be me. That whole works. Maybe it happens, and there's some people that they discover it, but like, you know what, we can pray it away. Yes. And expect like next 1-2 years, we're going to keep praying, we go to all the deliverance ministries across just to get this demon out of this child.
Yeah.
How do we get those kind of people to see what you, to know what you know?
I mean, that's why we're here, you know, to create the awareness. I mean, when BJ was born, I had that issue. Somebody in the village sent an arrow, you know, this one, my grandmother in the sky flew at night one time and came into his room, and it's a lot of ignorance. But with education, you know, people are coming out now. When we first started, when I first joined the foundation in 2001, late 2001, how many were we? We were probably about less than 10. Now we're well over 80 or 100, and more people are coming out, all because people like us have come out to say, listen, I identify with these children. And, you know, you talk about medical intervention and things like that, but they also need love. There's an emotional support they all need. Without that emotional support, they tend to wither. So they need that love, that care, that understanding, that patience, and that takes a lot out of one.
And they're very lovable children. They hug a lot.
Yes. BJ will hug you now. You better watch him.
I was just telling him on the way to the station this morning that we always say, you know, one of our kind of sayings is that the extra 21st chromosome is the love chip. Because, you know, he was asking me, is it true that in the United States there's a waiting list for people that are wanting to adopt children with Down syndrome?
Really?
Yes.
And it's true. They're just people that once they've been around them, once they've had that exposure and seen that the amount of love that you're always going to get a hug, you're not going to be judged, you're not going to, you know, that side of human nature is kind of removed.
Now,
you know, generally. So
I want you to help people who feel like the world is coming to an end because they just discovered, because there are a lot of people out there every single day they're discovering this disorder. They don't even know what's the first step. The moment the doctor tells you this child has this chromosome, what's the first thing you do? How do you even start to manage it from the womb? What's the first step? What do you do?
Can I answer that question? It's actually ensconced in the theme that we have. The first step is simply accept. Don't live in denial. Acceptance. Accept the fact that you've been given this child for a reason. And then as time goes on, you will get used to it. the child will grow up in an atmosphere of love, but without first accepting that, if you live in denial, I mean, I'll give a story. I've heard of fathers who have run away after the wives have given birth to children. They've run away. I didn't run away. I mean, I didn't.
Did it cross your mind?
Never did.
There's a question on Twitter, though.
Yes.
Pearl is saying, how have they been able to make awareness and support people with Down syndrome in such a secretive society like Nigeria? You see, some families would lock up such a child and, pretend they don't have that child.
Some will even kill the child at birth.
Good, thank you. That has happened. But with people like us coming out, all you need is an example, somebody to shine that torch. Hey,
okay, let me take a quick commercial break. When we return, we'll learn more on what this event you're holding is going to be all about. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back. All right, we're going to start with Tokwe tweets.
Asked the question that, do we have proper schools for those children? Can they go to normal schools or do they have to go to a separate school?
Well, good question. We do have special schools for these children. And two, there are some schools who are what they call inclusion. Some schools who do take care of children with this condition. But how effective is it? There's a CDC run by Dr. Akindayomi, and there's the Down Syndrome Foundation, which has a school as well as so many other schools that deal with children like this. But it's a question of how many teachers understand the issues that these children have. Because it takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of understanding. My first experience was to be impatient with my son, but I had to learn that. Now, if I was impatient with my son,
imagine how the teacher would react.
So would your foundation be willing to train teachers?
Yeah, let me take this call from David. David, are you there?
Yes.
Good morning. Please go ahead.
I want to say something. You said Down syndrome occurs naturally. But I want to talk from my experience, from the past experience. I can see effects on drugs. Effects on drugs on during the pregnancy to cause Down syndrome. Yeah, and it's not always natural.
Effect of drugs.
It will cause
The effect of drugs.
It will cause effects on drugs during pregnancy.
Drugs used
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Effects of drugs during pregnancy?
No. I dismiss that. I dismiss that. No, drugs will not cause the. You see, gone are the days in the 60s. When they used to, it was a drug and tug them. You drug the mothers, and you pull out the babies. The people who grew up in the 60s grew up on drugs because the mothers were drugged. And that was why it was called what was it called? I can't remember.
Baby boom? No.
Not the baby boom. But the children born that era were thank you.
Flower power.
Yeah, you're in the spirit, man. So, but drugs do not cause this. It's a natural, it's an additional chromosome. Now, what happens is this. Each cell contains 46 chromosomes. 23 donated by the mom, 23 donated by the father. Sometimes on the 21st, what they call trisomy 21, there's an additional cell or more. And that causes the problem. It's not drugs. It's just a fluke of nature.
Okay. You're talking about the teachers being trained, because I also want to know why Steve is in Nigeria and what brought you to Nigeria. I mean, why Nigeria?
Right. Well, I was in Phoenix over the summer at the National Down Syndrome Congress conference that we have in the United States. And Rose Morty from the foundation here in Nigeria was there visiting. And I was kind of kicking off a new documentary film about Down syndrome that I'm going to do called Uplifting Down. And she came walking by my station and I asked her to sit down for an interview. And as she started sharing her story of her daughter being born 28 years ago and her being shunned and hearing the stories of, people that kill their babies, when they're born and all that, by the end of the 40-minute interview that I had with her, the very end, I said, I'd love to come to Nigeria. And she said, I'd love to have you. We're coming in October. And I said, okay, I'll be there.
Wow.
And it was just that simple. And within a couple of days, I looked into it and realized that it was something that I could do. It was tangible enough to come down, and we started the communication. And so my goal is to work on the Uplifting Down documentary here, but then also over the next 3 years, we'll be traveling not only around the United States, but around the world to tell the story on the global scale.
Let me take this call from Ugochi. Ugochi, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Good morning, please go ahead.
Please, so can I have their phone number? And even their address too.
Okay.
So what phone number?
Can they
There's
I have a question for them.
Okay, you know what? There's actually a seminar.
Can that syndrome cause sclerosis?
Sclerosis.
Can that syndrome cause sclerosis?
Sclerosis.
Well, you know what? I think the best thing is for you to.
Is there any connection between that syndrome and sclerosis, and even a child not speaking very well? I believe that the child
not speaking very well.
No, they're two different things.
They're two
different things, yes.
Part of
you can be
there's a seminar coming up next week, Tuesday, which we're going to give you the details, because that's where they'll be talking more about the disorder and how to manage it, which is very, very key. Yes. When is that? Where is that going to be again?
The Sickle Cell Foundation.
Sickle Cell Foundation.
Opposite Luth on Tuesday, 6th of October from about 9 o'clock.
Okay, in the morning.
It's a 1 week long.
It's about actually 10 days. 10 days, yes.
One thing I wanted to ask is, do they ever get to talk properly? Down syndrome children, can they ever communicate, or their speech is always impaired? They can actually
it's not always impaired, and that starts with early intervention, and that's part of the awareness. Medically, there's not really much, but there are little things that that I was able to learn to help my son with. Little things like how you hold the spoon, and there are things that happen with any child. Me being in the United States with my child with Down syndrome would have the same type of developmental challenges as anybody here. But it's getting the awareness and the education on how to help them at a young age that can speak more clearly when they're older.
We have a tweet. Funny, it's like a question. Idowi Manor says, please, can people who are at the age of 21 just discover it?
No.
Okay.
You have somebody else then.
Obi says, Yourview, there's no such plan for schools for the children. Can your guests come and establish a school in Nigeria? Then someone else says, all we need is love and support to overcome health conditions. T-Sauce says, people use it. Okay, sorry.
My question was based on Obi's tweet about the school and training for teachers to take care of children with special needs.
Ideally, actually, there's a school in Ibadan, I think, that specifically trains teachers, the special needs teachers. But we don't train. But they can come in for internship. We do take in a lot of people doing their internship or IT who stay for a year or more. So, but I don't know the name of the school right now.
Let's come quickly, because we have to round up very quickly. Issue of costs. I don't know how expensive it's been managing this in the US compared to Nigeria. Because, as I said, the average man out there wants to know, do I have to go and get a trainer, a nurse permanently to assist? Do we need to do that, or what's the most affordable? How expensive is it?
You can't really put a finger. You can't put a finger. There's a price on this, really, because it varies from one child to another. Each child's condition is different. Some are more severe, some are less severe. Some, like I said, some have issues with heart. In fact, we have quite a number of kids who have issue with their hearts, and they're sent to India. Thank God for the sponsorship we get from various bodies. So it varies. There's a lot of pressure. There's more pressure on you, on these children, than on your other children who are so-called normal in quotes. Instead of spending 1 hour with your so-called normal child, you probably have to spend 6, 7, 8 hours or 12 hours with the child. So it's a cost of time, there's a cost of love, there's a cost of resources, there's a cost of attention. You can't quantify it.
All right, let Steve have the last word on this. What are the final thoughts, the final words on it? Because I said this is a whole week event, and you want people to come to the seminar and to participate in this whole weekend.
Please talk about the charity walk as well on Saturday.
On Saturday.
Right.
So.
I know that on the Down Syndrome Foundation of Nigeria website, there's a calendar of all the events that'll be happening. But we came to participate in all of them over the next 10 days, and we'll actually be presenting. I came with some other people from the United States. We'll be presenting at the seminar. There's a gala, there's a charity walk this Saturday.
This Saturday, yes.
There's a family fun day on the 11th.
On the 11th, yes.
There's just a whole lot of things.
I think generally, if you have a child with Down syndrome, you should participate in this at least to learn more.
The website.
If you're a teacher, you own a school, you should get your teachers to actually participate.
That's right,
so they can learn more about these disorder, because the more we know, the better we can influence a community.
And they can visit the center anytime.
You can visit the center.
Suluri, 43 Adekoke Street, Suluri, Masha.
Number 43
anytime, walk in anytime.
Down syndrome
Foundation.
All right? Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you being. Don't forget, we're still on our road to size 10, so please continue to eat healthy. We're hoping to get to size 10 by December. Yeah! And also, this week is October 1st, as on Thursday. If you'd like to be a member of our, like to participate on the show, to be in the audience, you can send your name and phone number to yourview@tvcontinental.tv so you can be part of the show. You can also catch us on YouTube by going to YouTube/TV Entertainment and search for Yourview. Have a blessed day and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.